Good evening, everyone, from Indianapolis for an important Game 3. Don't play the series, you play the game. Towns 3, good! Towns cutting and jackhammers, and New York's got the lead.
The Knicks avoid a 3-0 hole.
Built on a great team, great chemistry.
The Pacers know they let one slip away.
We got to be able to attack better.
For the Indiana Pacers, there can be no let-up.
Both teams are going to continue to fight to the buzzer, keep grinding it out.
The importance of this game cannot be emphasized enough.
This poster was a momentum changer. With the Knicks never looking back, Karl Anthony Towns with a massive fourth quarter in Game 3, New York back in the series. Jalen Brunson and company down 20 in Game 3. It looked bleak in that first half, but that New York state of mind coming through, the Knicks in position to tie things up. Looking good, right?
Looking like Ice Cube.
Today was a good day, baby.
Tell me what you think about this.
Well,
See, let's get up top.
You want to keep going?
Keep going.
Here we go.
You got to see the whole. Oh, okay. If the weather must be good in Naptown right now.
Well, he got them referee shoes on.
Oh yeah, he's rocking it. Was that Versace? What you
I've
think?
never heard that before.
They going to another level now.
Oh, okay.
It's Tom Ford probably.
Tom Ford, yeah.
I guess. I don't know, but
OKC
I like
bouncing back.
I like his swag.
Yeah,
it's not for me,
right?
Yeah,
but I like his swag.
You don't think you can pull that one off?
No, I'm not trying to pull it off.
No, these knees ain't meant to be shown right now. No.
Even back then, they weren't meant to be shown.
Welcome to Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T to Bill Cream, alongside Greg Anthony and Steve Smith. You know how they say there's no cheering in the press box. I'm cheering for the Knicks today. Openly cheering for the Knicks today.
Okay.
We need 7 games.
Oh, okay.
We need 7 games. We
like
need
that.
7 games. This has been so good. There has been so many storylines that we haven't even been able to get to, right? Because these games have been so wild. I need 7 games.
Yeah, I always need game 7 if we sit on this side, GA.
Yes,
but if I'm sitting on that side, you don't want game 7 if you're the Indiana Pacers. It's in New York. So I wouldn't want game 7 if I'm Indiana. This is a big game. You don't lose a series if you lose this game. But, boy, if you win this one, GA, 3-1, it puts a lot of pressure on the Knicks, who don't play well at home.
Yeah, and to your point, I think the approach tonight is game 7. I mean, that's where the experience sometimes plays a role, like understanding the importance of this moment. We saw it last night with OKC, the sense of urgency that they brought. And I think you got to see a similar dynamic from both teams, really. You know the Knicks understand that, and I think their experience will lend them to come out and play. But this is where your leadership in the locker room with Pascal Siakam, a guy who's won a championship, and a group of guys that went to a conference finals last year. They understand this is the game. And like Smitty said, you may not win the series, but you take complete control of it if you win this one.
No doubt about it. It's a pivotal game. I think the players understand that. Tyrese Halliburton understands that. Here he is talking about stepping up in Game 4.
You hold that team like that's 106. That's you should win that game. So we gotta. 100 points isn't us. I feel like I did a poor job of keeping pace in the game, especially in the fourth there. I felt like I was walking the ball up every play, just trying to execute the right way, get guys in the right spots. It's definitely an area where I know when I watch film, I'm going to kick myself for. A lot of our offensive struggles in the second half will be, due to me.
In order to go through and do something special, you have to go through a lot of adversity. You have to go through a lot of questioning mentally and internally if we're going to do this. You saw that we were on the brink of it looking pretty dark for us, and the way we responded brings us closer together.
When you're down 20 plus, it tests the character of everyone in that locker room and our willingness to not give up and continue to fight. So you got to show that kind of never say quit attitude, and it's a testament to everyone in that locker room.
Hey, listen, the Knicks season was on the line, and Karl Anthony Towns coming up with just a massive performance in Game 3 in that fourth quarter. And when you look at 20-point fourth quarters in Knicks playoff history, the two guys that do it are on the current squad right now. A pretty good company. And what's even more impressive is that Jalen Brunson wasn't on the floor at that time, which obviously made him a more focal point. But what was going so well for Cat in that moment?
I think Cat was aggressive. I think if you look at it, people don't understand, and I guess they're forgetting, he had a phenomenal year. And let's watch him. He was aggressive. I know it was the fourth quarter, but that's when you need to do it. Some people do it in the first quarter. He did it in the most important quarter, in the most important game. And you talk about a guy can flat out shoot it. He's shooting 45% from 3 in this series. And a lot of them are contested and deep. And watch this one right here. This was the play for me. Banging, and then he comes back. And this is Miles Turner. He's having his way with a pretty good defender. Next for him is I like his mindset. He catching, he ripped through, driving it. This is the cat we saw in spurts. We saw it every trip down in this possession in the fourth quarter. Next one right here, he's standing out there at the three-point line. A lot of people don't love it, but this is what I love, GA. Not just standing there, he cuts.
Yeah.
Miles Turner has been a primary defender, and when I'm telling you he is scorching him, on 90 possessions, he is shooting 64%, 8 for 11 from threes against Miles Turner. And Miles Turner, all you got to do is keep playing, as long as you win games. But right now, Karl Anthony Towns' mindset is the biggest thing for me. If he's rebounding the basketball, offensive rebounding the basketball, and putting it on the floor, he's going to put pressure on the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, when you put it in perspective, again, going into that quarter, GA, just 4 points. It's not like he was scorching before that. 4 points leading into that 20-point quarter.
Yeah, and they hadn't played well either. So it wasn't just that he had 4. Sometimes you can have 4 points, but the team's functioning well, so it doesn't matter. But they were getting manhandled early in that game. But when the opportunity presented itself, he was able to show up. And that's even more impressive and important because that really helps to stabilize the trust in your locker room. You do all that without your best player on the floor. And Karl Anthony Towns was terrific. And, like, the other thing that makes him such a unique player is because he can play inside out. You know, I do like seeing them put him with his back to the basket some. I think that's going to – it forces you to rotate when you play with your back to the basket. That's why a post game is so important. But his ability to shoot the three also, it just disrupts what the Pacers want to do defensively. But having said all of that, to me, that game came down to the Knicks being able to control tempo. And they kept the Pacers out of the transition game and forced them to play later in the shot clocks when they're not nearly as good. And you heard Halliburton talk about a lot of that's on him. When they play with pace, everything changes for them offensively.
They should add 15 rebounds for Karl Anthony Towns in that game, too. Just got to stay out of foul trouble. That's a key for Cat. Throughout this series. Hey, just getting started here on Playoff Central Live. When we come back, we'll check in with Reggie Miller, who's had the best seat in the house for this series. All right, so the first 3 games of this year's East Finals have been decided by 6 points or less. All road wins, by the way. The first time that's happened in a conference final since 2009. Reggie Miller has called every minute of it. He joins us now. And Reggie, there have been so many subplots throughout this series, including Game 3. I'm sure you got a bunch of takeaways, but what are you looking for adjustment-wise for each team tonight?
Well, what's interesting, and the two guys sitting next to you know this very well, when you get to this level of basketball, when you're in a Final Four setting, every game will take a life of its own. And, look, I applaud New York. GA knows this because he played on those Knicks teams. They brought a level of physicality from the 3-minute on of that second quarter all the way through that second half. And I really didn't feel that Indiana was able to respond to that. These two teams, they like to battle one another, and a lot of times it comes down mentally who's the tougher team. And in Game 3, New York showed that they were the tougher team. So now, if you're Indiana, you've got to match that physicality. And in this building, what we saw a little bit, especially the start of that second quarter, you've got to create offense from your defense, get this crowd into it because they've got to run. Pace and possessions are huge in this series, and if Indiana, because of that depth, if they can turn them over, get out in transition, hit some threes. Look, they were only 5 of 20 in Game 3. That was a big thing. That's one issue Rick Carlisle is going to have to address. They've got to be a little bit more effective in shooting threes. But look, let's be honest. We've been watching a movie between these two teams, right? And I just have a sense that the leading actors in this movie, it's going to be that kind of game between Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson, very subpar night, 6 of 18, was in foul trouble, and he didn't have one of those type of Jalen Brunson game. I don't think he has back-to-back games like that. And the same with Tyrese. Tyrese, I felt kind of, yes, he had 20 points, only on 15 field goal attempts. He has to be more aggressive. I'm looking anywhere from 18 to 23 field goal attempts because when he is aggressive offensively, that sets the tone for Indiana, gentlemen.
Reggie, great hearing you call this series. I just got to ask you, did you get a chance to talk to Tibbs about playing his bench? Because I thought they were the difference in the last game, especially defensively. What has changed for Tibbs that he's going at least eight man deep?
Well, I think he's just looking at the numbers. And I applaud Josh Hart going to him and saying, look, I'm not getting the job done. Mitchell Robinson was. They made the switch there. And you saw kind of how it benefited them. But more importantly, you look at the numbers. 27 bench points for Indiana in Game 3. 22 for the Knicks. And I know that doesn't sound a lot, but that's the most bench points they've had in this postseason from their bench. So can they continue to do that, especially in a hostile environment? We know that they're 6-1, the Knicks are on the road in this postseason. And Greg, you of all people know this because you and I locked horns a lot of times in those Knicks-Pacers series. Why is it that your New York Knickerbockers always play so well on the road, and at home they kind of like go through the motions a little bit? The Knicks are so dangerous when they get away from MSG, and we saw that in Game 3, and I expect very much the same thing here in Game 4.
Reggie, you make such a great point. And quite honestly, I think part of it is when you think about the Garden, it's almost more like you're going to perform. And they will, if you're the villain or you're the opposing team, but you're having a special night, they appreciate that almost to a fault. And I think that affects the home team. Whereas when they go on the road, they know it's us against the world mentality. And their crowd in Indy is going to be rabid. They're going to be after them. Yeah. But tell me a little bit, like you talked about it, 5 of 25 from 3 in that game were the Pacers. I always feel like with Indiana, they're at their best when they play fast, even after makes. And I just felt like the Knicks were able to force them to have more possessions later in the shot clock, which is not their strength. You know, they're not a team that's blessed with a bunch of guys that can score one-on-one against great defense. They beat you with passing. What's your sense that's going to allow them to get the running game going, if you will, and also try to energize that crowd?
Well, to your point, we saw that in Games 1 and 2. Even on makes, getting the ball out quick. Halliburton, he is one of those prototypical point guards where he's looking ahead. Jason Kidd looks ahead and allows those guys to be playmakers and creators. So they've got to continue to do that. And in this building, and it's astonishing if you look at the numbers, the shooting numbers of the Pacers' perimeter players. Halliburton is only shooting 8 of 41 in threes here in Gamebridge, where he's so much better, as we saw on road in Games 1 and 2. He's got to find his stroke. To me, this comes down to him because he sets the table for everyone else. And not knowing how good Aaron Nesmith will be tonight because of that ankle roll. I still think he plays tonight, but how effective will he be? He's been their best three-point shooter. So to me, Halliburton has to set the table in terms of scoring and getting everyone involved. But I'm expecting, again, another one-possession game because I don't think both of these teams can. Oh, I love this man right here. He destroy all of us?
Yes.
He destroyed all of us. And now he comes back in here, kissing my forehead. Love that dude. But I am expecting another one-possession game, and this is going to be an unbelievable. I can see this going 7, guys. Yeah. I really can.
Hey, Reggie, last question. You and GA are totally right about pace. But if it becomes a half-court game, we understand where the Knicks are going with Brunson and Cat. What's your opinion for the Pacers to become one of those last 3 minutes where it's not up and down? To me, it's Pascal Siakam. What's your take, Reg?
Yeah, to me, you saw in Game 2, he carried the Pacers offensively, 39 points. And he started to kind of get it going in Game 3. There just wasn't enough time. He is the one guy, especially they like to run that Siakam-Halliburton high screen and roll so they can create that mismatch and that switch. And he loves turning over that right shoulder fadeaway. So if it's a close game, but let's not forget, too, the Pacers are 7-1 in clutch games. In this series, though, the Knicks have not been great in those clutch games. Oh, the ball's coming to me, guys. It's time to play a little bit. I'm surprised you
didn't shoot it.
Well, I'm at half court, but that doesn't mean anything for a shooter. That doesn't mean anything for a shooter.
Hey, Red, before we let you go, since we have GA here quickly, I mean, any trash talk, Knicks Pacer trash talk you guys want to get off your chest here?
All I will say to GA was I didn't push him. I didn't shove him.
See, that's a lot because he always like after that, like the years that came after, he would always come up. I did push you. That was my fault. That's all right. They got us that time. They got us. I got to tip my cap.
Reggie, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Reggie's right, though. Again, he said right here, we want a long series here because it really has been like a movie, GA.
Yeah, it has. And I think the teams, and that's the beauty of a 7-game series, because with each passing game, you're not going to do anything different. You're not going to trick anybody. They know what you do well. You know what they do well. And it's just a matter of who can impose their style and their will on the other team. And I think Reggie hit it on the head. Smitty he talked about that the Knicks dictated the way the game was going to be played. They were the ones that were forcing the Pacers to slow down. They didn't allow them to control tempo. And now if you're the Pacers, you got to figure out a way to reverse that energy and play your game, particularly in your own building.
You know, GA, in our day, everybody picked up kind of 94 feet, at least 90 feet. The Pacers have been doing that this entire postseason. The Knicks haven't. And obviously, when you're only playing 5 or 6 guys and one of your guys is Jalen Brunson, you're not going to have him picking up. I thought them picking up, to your point, took away that pace from them. I look at it right now is we talked about everything, the adjustments. This is going to come down to here and there, Rick Carlisle versus Thibodeau on one little wrinkle that somebody's been saving, been watching this from the regular season to the playoffs. And this is what I want to see, the adjustments from either guy. Which one's going to have something in adjustment where that gives his team an edge?
And strategy-wise, I mean, we're still waiting to hear on the starting lineups here, but you would think New York's going to stay with the same lineup?
I would think so. I mean, and if they go back to Hart, it doesn't bother me because it's not like you're bringing in – both guys do the same thing to me in a different way. I mean, it's not like you're saying, hey, GA, I'm about to bring in a pick-and-pop 5. Yeah. Josh Hart is the 4 who rebounds the basketball. I do like him pushing the basketball, but I think Josh Hart, some guys mentally, I think you'll lose him. I don't think you lose Josh Hart because he's not starting.
I don't think you lose him. I do like – one of the things I like about Mitchell Robinson in the starting lineup is it forces the Pacers to put Siakam on the Karl Anthony Towns. I didn't think that the Knicks really took advantage of that in that last game, but that's where you look to try to post him, I think, Karl Anthony Towns. And you also want to beat up Pascal Siakam. You want to force him to have to play post defense several possessions, and then that still will continue to free up Mitchell Robinson to attack the offensive glass because that's something that he does at a really high level. And so I would look for the Knicks to try to feature Towns a little bit more on that block because that is an advantage, I think, for the Knicks.
And I think if you watch it, GA, I think watching Mitchell Robinson, he played that entire first quarter. Boy, he was gassed. Yeah. I think right now Tibbs is going to find a way. It's a little different than starting. So I think they will manage his minutes a little bit different, but I have no problem with him starting.
Yeah, 29 minutes in that game, 6 points, 6 rebounds for Mitchell Robinson. Hey, when we come back, we'll take a closer look at OKC's Game 4 win that's got them just one dub away from the NBA Finals.